Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Amy Gutmann, and I'm president of the University of Pennsylvania and chair of the Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues. On behalf of our vice chair, Jim Wagner, who's president of Emory University, and myself, I welcome everyone to this, our 6th meeting of the commission. Before we continue, let me note the presence of our designated federal official, Commission Executive Director Valerie Bonham. Val, would you please stand up so people can recognize you? Thank you. We, as a commission, are now well into our work responding to President Obama's charge on the topic of human subjects protection. As you'll recall, last fall we learned that the United States Public Health Service conducted intentional exposure studies involving STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, with vulnerable populations in Guatemala between 1946 and 1948. Following this revelation, President Obama charged us to do a study of both the historical and the contemporary situation with human subjects research. So there are 2 tasks. One, to do a thorough fact-finding investigation into the events in Guatemala to determine what happened and also to decide what our ethical position is on what happened. And the second is to determine if contemporary human subjects protections adequately guard the health and well-being of participants in scientific studies supported by the federal government. We're pleased to report that the historical investigation is near completion. The commission staff has devoted the last 9 months to conducting comprehensive independent research into the Guatemala studies. This is and will be, when we bring it out, the most comprehensive study of this series of experiments to date. During this time period, they reviewed over 125,000 documents. They also created an in-house document library of over 13,000 documents that inform most of the facts in this report. The staff reviewed documents compiled from 9 archives, 3 libraries, and 5 government agencies. Sources included institutions such as the National Archives and Records Administration, Pan American Health Organization, Headquarters Library, and the Bureau of Prisons. From all that information, this report was drafted, and today we will discuss some of the answers we've uncovered to key questions about the studies in Guatemala. The best thing we as Americans can do when faced with a dark chapter in our government's history is to bring it to light. It is important that we accurately document this clearly unethical episode of historical injustice. We also have called on our sense and sensibility, if you will, about bioethics, and added a careful, and I would say unvarnished, ethical analysis to the historical investigation. We do this, to put it as simply as possible, to honor the victims and to make sure it never happens again. Before we turn to the historical investigation, which will be the topic for the meeting today, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the Commission's other activities. The second part of the President's charge on human subjects protection is to review current rules for human subject protection and determine if these rules, coupled with the practices that accompany them, protect people participating in federally funded research from harm and unethical treatment. In carrying out this part of the human subjects assignment, the Commission has done a number of things since we last met. An international research panel was set up as a subcommittee to the commission. That panel consisted of international experts on human subjects protection standards and international research. The panel members came from all over the world. Since the Commission's last meeting, the international panel held its second and third meetings, and it's poised to complete its work. The panel has reported its findings and recommendations to the full Commission in the form of a report entitled Research Across Borders. We have sent this report to be published in the Federal Register, and we look forward to taking public comments on it. The panel report will be on our website tomorrow. I am very grateful to Commission members John Aris, Christine Grady, and Nelson Michael, who sat on the International Research Panel, and they will report to us. Christine and Nelson will take the lead, and we will have a report tomorrow on the panel and its work and a discussion on it as well. We're also collecting data from government agencies that support research involving human subjects. What we're going to do with this information is to be able to describe to the President the landscape of human subjects research that is supported by the federal government domestically and internationally. There is no such set of empirical data available at the moment, and there is nobody in the process of collecting it. So we decided this was a very important first step, which will accompany our investigation into the adequacy of the rules and practices concerning human subjects research. In December, we will complete the second part of the President's human subject protection assignment, and we will deliver our report about contemporary human subjects research to the President in December. Finally, we are making progress on our next project called Genes to Genomes, Collecting, Using, and Governing Genome Sequence Data. This project will address how the growing amount of collected and available genetic data raises the bar on data protection, privacy, consent, issues of individual counseling, among other important issues. And we will devote the fall and spring to this subject and produce a report next summer. Following this project, so when I said finally, I was not telling the truth, I will now tell, since I'm a truth-telling person, that was penultimately. Following this project, a project we haven't started working on. So it's true that I've just said everything that we've been working on to date. But following this project, we are going to begin another topic called Neuroimaging and the Self, which focuses on advances in neuroimaging and the implications for moral and legal responsibility. So we have a very full year coming up. Unfortunately, due to the hurricane this weekend, Dr. Rafael Espada, Vice President of Guatemala, who was planning on being with us, planning on flying up yesterday, you can understand why he was unable to travel to Washington to be with us as scheduled. He sends his regrets. I am very sorry that he couldn't be with us today. We have enjoyed a very good working relationship with Dr. Espada throughout our investigations. We very much appreciate all that he has shared with us. I would like to say a few words about how we will take comments from the audience at this meeting before we get started. We have a lot to accomplish today and tomorrow and a short amount of time to do it. So what we've done at the registration table out front, there are comment cards. And we ask that anyone who wishes to make a comment write down any comments you have on the cards, hand the card to any staff member, and they're all wearing badges. Would staff members stand up so people can recognize you? Okay. So any staff member can take a card, and the staff will give Jim and me cards throughout the session, and time permitting, we will read them aloud and we will engage in responses. All I ask is that any questions or comments you make be relevant to the sessions that we are engaged in. And with that, I think we've done all the preliminaries. We know we're beginning. I'm going to turn to Jim Wagner, our vice chair, and see if he has a few opening remarks.
Well,
Thank you all for being here. And let me just thank, there'll be opportunities later, and I will thank the staff for the incredible work they've done, especially on the historical report. But let me also thank all the commission members who traveled to get here today, for getting here. Somebody once said 90% of success in life is showing up. Well, I'm glad you've showed up. We have a lot more to do besides that, but thank you for being here.